America, land of the free and home of the brave, a country notorious for its freedom, the place where over 300 million people currently reside, all of them from different walks of life who come in search for a better life and to fulfill the American dream. The United States is home to many different groups of people, including illegal immigrants. These people have come to America in search of a better life. They adapt to working conditions in the fields, construction, and or doing other sorts of unskilled labor in order to earn a living and pursue better opportunities. Immigration is something that has been around for a long time, and it is now being debated by the 2016 presidential candidates Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The following is an interview with historian Mark Schmidt.
Well, recent history would probably start with the Immigration Quota Act in the 1920s, 1921 and 1924, in which they capped immigration at certain levels from certain parts of Europe, at least in the United States. And that began a long process of immigration issues that continued. Probably the biggest turning point would be in Dwight Eisenhower's campaign, or not campaign, but in the 50s when he forcibly deported large numbers of immigrants who had come to the United States in World War II to work the farm fields. Would probably be the closest direct relation to illegal immigration today. So you had people that were asked to come from Mexico to help with the agricultural issues in World War II, and then were forcibly deported after the war, I believe it was, when they no longer were welcome. So from that point on, you have a large number of people who are already here working, some of which then are going to have family and go back and forth, and then it's sort of depended on the situations in Mexico largely, but also in Cuba. And the Cuban Revolution has brought Cuban immigrants trying to enter Florida predominantly illegally. And here in California, we've had Mexican illegal immigrants that largely started with that situation in World War II. And so the issue, of course, is that people in our country believe now that that's costing us a great deal of money. The last 15 years, illegal immigration has been a big issue that has been repeatedly brought up because they're being blamed for those problems, taxpayer problems, and how much money that it's costing. If you will, Trump's policies are hard to discern exactly what he would want to do. Building the wall wouldn't necessarily, I would think, have a significant impact economically because you're not going to, I believe net immigration these days is actually the reverse. Last time I checked, there was some 80 to 100,000 more immigrants with an E going from the United States back to Mexico than there were coming in. Had he built a wall, that probably wouldn't have a huge economic effect on us. Had he decided, though, if he actually was able to deport the 11 to 13 million illegal immigrants that we have in our country, I would expect that would have some pretty disastrous consequences for the economy because the jobs would have to be replaced, people would have to take the jobs, the businesses that depend on those illegal immigrants who are actually working are going to find new workers that might cost more, and I would expect that the results of that would be pretty disastrous. Hillary Clinton's policies tend to lean towards trying to integrate those people into our economy, and I suspect that there would be less significant impact immediately economically because the status quo would stay. The people would probably stay, they would be able to maintain their jobs, and she might offer a path to citizenship to some extent that would probably have less drastic effects on the economy.
Thank you.
Next, we have government teacher Justin Weber talk about the issue.
The U.S. Constitution and other federal laws affect illegal immigration.
Yes.
Illegal immigration is illegal at all levels of the law, from the states on up to the federal government. And the federal government under the Constitution is pretty much wholly in charge of anything that has to do with immigration, including illegal immigration.
And lastly, we have taxpayer consultant Juan Posada. About 90% of the people who do their taxes here are not citizens. My records show that more than 2 million of the people who have paid taxes are undocumented.